Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Kyle Stutzer, here on the Culture Talks podcast. And I tell you guys all the time, man, we're coming back with more fire guests. And again, we're back with a fire guest. We're talking talent. We're talking intelligent. We're talking a dope Twitter. She makes dope tweets, so I also appreciate that. And aside from those few things, man, let's go ahead and jump right in. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners, my friend.
So I am MonCherie. I am the owner and operator of Cherie Scents, which is a company that specializes in candles, but mainly just aromatherapy. So we have candles and we have roll-on fragrance oils and more aromatherapy products coming out soon.
I love it. I love it. If you had to give us three words that best describe you, what would those words be?
Um, my favorite word to describe myself is eclectic. Um, just because I feel like there isn't really a era or space that I cannot operate in. But if I had to choose two other words, I'm gonna just go with black because I'm black. I'm a part of black culture, and it's a really important culture that I don't think gets a lot of this is hard. It's probably gonna be corny. Uh, I'm gonna just go with fire. Like I just feel like I'm fire. My life is fire.
I love it. I love it a lot. I
Yeah,
love it. Those are three great words. So we have eclectic, we have black, and we have fire. I love it. I love it. Straight fuego.
absolutely.
So what are some of your early, I like to talk a little bit about people's like early life, a little bit so people can get to know them, the person behind the business. So can you talk a little bit about some of your earliest childhood memories, things that make you happy when you think about them?
Ooh. Um, what's crazy is when I try to think back to my earliest, happiest memories, I draw blanks like all the time. I know that from a very young age, I've always loved animals. We've always had animals in the house. I have two brothers, and we took dogs. I really like into like animals more than I like people. We were always outside. I really enjoyed nature. So something that probably makes me happiest is probably my brothers. They were my first friends. They pretty much made me who I am today. So just clowning around with them, they were always getting into on a railing and like bumped his head, like hit his head actually, has to get stitches. Another time my brother got a staple stuck in his tooth. So just being their little sister, I'm the youngest, and I guess living life with them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think people often forget how important our family members are, regardless if it was like fun or whether it wasn't fun and it was super challenging and difficult, but how important they are to our growth and like, our process as we get older and older. We take a lot from what we see from them, especially as a younger child. I'm the youngest of eight, so I feel you on that. Like I was learning a lot from, and just sometimes, yeah, I know, right? Sometimes it was fun, sometimes it was crazy, but overall, it's always, lessons being learned growing up as the young buck.
No, absolutely. I feel like you can really tell when someone didn't have other siblings. Like you really learn a lot about working with other people, other people's opinions, sharing, and different things like that. So I appreciate, and I have older siblings, but I just mainly grew up with those two. So it just sets certain values in you that you might not have learned until you kind of got out into the world.
Major facts. So, are you from Kansas City originally? Are you born and raised here? Can you talk a little bit about maybe where you went to high school or middle school?
Born and raised in Yeah, born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. The just Midtown. Elementary, I went to Pinkerton, which is like in the 60s, and then from middle school all the way finishing to high school, I went to Paseo. So yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. And isn't Paseo technically an art school, or am I tripping?
I'm not sure what it is like today currently, but when I attended, yes, it was a fine and performing arts school that you had to audition to get into.
So what was that
Yeah.
experience? What was that experience like? What classes do you remember taking? Like what do you think is different from Paseo than to other high schools, considering it was a performing and fine arts school?
Right. So my experience there, just like overview, was amazing. I met probably some very, some of the most talented people ever. And so you audition and then you have a major. So my major was creative writing. And I was a performance poet and competitive poet from ninth to 12th grade. And it's just, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was such a blessing to be around creative, talented, young Black people. Like literally, that's all it was there. And now I see those young creative Black people into adulthood, and they all have businesses, and they're trying to, make a living off of their creations. So I didn't appreciate it at the time, just because I think I was just a snobby little kid. But I would not have wanted to go anywhere else. I don't know much about any other high school. I hardly ever stepped foot in other high schools. So I mean, I guess they differ just because they're very underfunded. So I know from speaking to other people who went to other high schools, some art programs were better other places, but I know that they instilled being independent with your art. And so I applaud them for that.
I love it. I love it. If you still in the early part of your life, if you can think of like any early hobbies or interests or like things that you enjoyed or early passions you had, what would you say some of those were?
I would have to say writing. I've always, before I even went to Paseo, my mom was a pretty, well-off poet. So writing, I've always wrote stories. I've always created stories in my head, even if I didn't write them down. Maybe sometimes I didn't know I was writing a poem, but that's indeed what it was. Like early, like I'm talking like 3 or 4, I know I was in ballet. I tell you, I don't know nothing about ballet as an adult. Um, that art, and it's one of my favorite things to do, to watch ballets. But yeah, I don't have any talent in that, but mainly writing. I've always been a thinker. I've always wanted to know what was going on in someone else's head. I know very young, I used to always ask my mom, why does this person do that? And so she started giving me like psychology books, just because she was like, you don't know that you're wanting to learn about psychology, but that's what you're asking. So I'm just always in my head mainly.
I love that. I love that. Shout out to your mom for that because oftentimes like children are always like they're seeking out information by asking certain questions, but sometimes we don't feed into that phase in their life where they're really trying to like learn about a specific thing or they're really interested in something, and instead of like investing into that, we kind of like try to guide them elsewhere, or we kind of just like brush them off the shoulder. But it's so important for parents to tap in and realize what your kid's interested in at the moment and try to feed into that, because that's their developmental stage where they're trying to decide what they might be interested in as they grow older. So that's super dope. Shout out to moms. So I wanted to ask
Yeah,
you.
no,
Oh,
my mom.
go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, my mom, she didn't care what it was that we liked, what that we were interested in. She was really big on helping us pursue that. And I mean, my brother played football. I had another brother who's an artist, and she just made the time and the space for us to do whatever it is that we wanted to do. And if it changed or if I don't want to do that anymore, it wasn't like a bad thing. It was like, okay, what's next? And we just went to the next thing. So yeah, she was really big on just gassing whatever it was that we liked.
Love that. I love that. Kind of reminds me of how we should treat our friends, man. Like as our friends are investing in like different career paths or in different interests, like yo, always gassing them up. Like doesn't mean you gotta like lie to them, but you're like, yo, I love that you're interested in this. Like keep chasing that, keep learning about it, keep doing your thing. Like always just support them on their path. If they create an art piece and it's not that great, maybe you keep it 100 with them, but tell them to keep trying. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just an important, I guess, discipline that you can adopt and then use not only just in your relationships with your children or cousins, but also in your friend group. So I love that. But you mentioned your mom was a poet. But that also makes me want to ask, did either of your parents or your mom have any entrepreneurial tendencies that kind of guided you down the path of like wanting to start your own business, or where did that entrepreneurial bug come from?
I mean, I think as far as my parents, yes and no. I think they both probably had, like concrete ideas, but like trying to raise kids and stuff like that kind of gets in the way. I know my journalism, and mom always has great ideas, like always. But I mean, she's a single mom, so she was raising 3 kids on her own. So I don't really think that she filled those dreams. But I someone. Um, so I'm like 16, just like having my first job at Winstead's, I knew like this ain't it. And I thought it was like, oh, it was just because it was a fast food restaurant. And then you get a better job, a job that I have now that I actually like, and I'm still just like, I don't want this. So I didn't know it would be candles. I didn't know what it would be, but I did go through a little bit of brainstorming where I wanted to do this business venture, that business venture, and pretty much I knew that I was going to be my own business owner just because I want that freedom. So I didn't know what it would be, but I knew it would be something. I'm really glad that I found candles. I've always loved candles, but I mean, trust me when I say like this business was random. In a matter of like from thought to launching my business, it was a span of like 30 days. And I just thought of it, figured out how to make candles, fell in love with it, and next thing you know, I was a business owner.
I love it. I love it. Dive into that a little bit more. So what was like where did the initial interest in candles come from? Was it a YouTube video? Was it a friend that was like into it and you got into it? What was it that like was like, okay, I'm about to go learn about this?
So I buy a lot of candles, and I was just in the house and I was just like, man, I'm out of candles again. And my boyfriend was like, well, what if you could like, refill them on your own? I mean, we were like running through candles and I was like, I guess I could refill them. Like it was just like a thought that I brushed off. And then I just ordered like a small little kit on Amazon. I was like, I guess I'll just make my own. And just from that, I like crafts and I like DIY stuff. So I really enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? How hard would it be just to make some more? And then I made some more, gave them out to a couple of friends and family, began watching YouTube videos. And I was just like, this is really cool. Like, I really like this. And then, who can't use some more money? And I was like, let me just sell them and see where that would go. And I had no clue. You never know what people will care about. I was like, people are like, I'm making money. Like, what the heck? And so I just was like, let me get serious about this. Let me really learn like how to make a quality candle. Cause at first it was not good. Shout out to my first customers, cause I'm sorry, y'all. But it was like I figured out how to make a quality candle. And then it took off even more. But I did not like have a business plan. I still don't really know how to run a business for winging it, which life, a lot of us should kind of do that. I often think we overthink so much and nothing ever gets done. It's like it probably was bad at first. Those first customers, I probably won't see them again. But I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. And I think a lot of us should just do that. We want everything to be perfect. We want everything, I gotta have this in place. Sometimes you just gotta go.
Man, man, that's facts. I love it. I love it. So can you talk about how you, I guess, scaled your business? So like, when you started getting a lot of orders in, was it difficult to fulfill them by yourself? Did you have any help? Like, how does that work? Because I don't really know the length of a process it takes to make one candle. It could be freaking 50 minutes. So I'm like, yo, like, matter of fact, how long
Right.
does it take? And then, yeah, how did you scale it? And what are some like maybe marketing strategies you've been going about to grow the business?
Yeah. So just the simple process of candle making is getting a slab, or they have like flakes of wax, and there's a bunch of different waxes, soy, coconut, whatever, bunch of different waxes. You get that wax, and it comes in this little hard form, and you melt that wax down at a certain temperature. That wax is really thin. You can add in your desired fragrance, lavender, chamomile, pumpkin, whatever you want. You add that in. Over Wax cools down very, very fast. And so while it's cooling, you pour it into your desired jar, vase, whatever. And hopefully they've tried to come out with a perfect formula, but really every candle is chance. Hopefully as it cools, the fragrance and the wax combines, you light that thing on fire and it smells good. So there's a little bit of science to it. There are lots of different reputable websites that have like what temperature you should add it, what temperature you should put inside your vase, and different things like that. To hope each candle will come out smelling good. And so that process is probably like 30 minutes. Cooling process that the fragrance is binded to the wax, that can take from 3 days to 2 weeks. It just depends on what kind of wax you have. So making one candle is like easy peasy, but making 500 candles kind of wears on your back. You got to make sure different fragrance oils have different volume. You got to make sure you're using the right wax. I mean, it can be a lot, but in general, candle making is really fun, and it's not something that's hard at all. I feel like I missed a part of your question.
Nah, yeah, I mean, you answered it. The follow-up question to that, because I asked like three questions in one. The follow-up question was just, what have been some strategies you've gone about, implementing in regards to marketing the business and like getting the name of Cherie Scents out there and securing customers?
Yeah. Um. So truthfully, I have to attest a lot of that to like Twitter and those like black businesses threads, and like black woman, drop your businesses. That I did a little question and answering on my story, and I was just like, how did you guys find me? I don't know anyone in Jersey City. I don't know anyone in Culver City. So I'm like, how'd y'all find me? And it was like, oh, Twitter. I was like, wow, Twitter really, I see people like stuff, but I'm like, I didn't know these people were actually buying. So I think just the community on Twitter is really, really good in that way. They want you to get your business out. Also, I pay for ads on Instagram just because Instagram's algorithm sucks. And so I kind of have to navigate that if I want to, promote my business successfully. So it's nothing wild though. Like I'm not just dishing out money to Instagram, but just a few dollars here and there. I put up an ad, and then yeah, I think it's just my friends. My friends are great with reposting. Or somebody will like tweet like, hey, I want to go buy some candles. And my friends is like under there, hey, buy from her. So it's just my support system. And social media is good in that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Can you tell me, what do you foresee for Cherie Scents like in 10 years? Where do you want to be? I know people don't like to look into the future, so maybe I'll lessen that down to 5 years. But like, where do you want to go with Cherie Scents? Is this a temporary thing? Is this something you want to scale to the utmost heights?
When people ask me like questions like that, I just wish I had like these really profound answers. But the truth is like I don't have it and I don't know. Like I said, I really if somebody would have told me like you were starting a business in 2020, I'd be like, what the heck are you talking about? So I don't know. Truly, I don't know. I mean, I would hope to be making enough money where I can venture off into other ideas I have. You know, I want a lot of different things for my community regarding arts and regarding just like resources to be artists. I think a lot of us have so much talent, but because we're sometimes in unfortunate situations that America has placed us in, we cannot pursue our dreams. We just got to get a job and like work. When I don't think that is everyone's reality. So, you know, I have other things that I want to do. I really want to get into like helping stray animals. Like I said, I'm an animal lover. So hopefully this business will wait for me to quit my job, make a good living, and continue to fund the other business ideas that I have.
I love it. I love it. What do you?
1 second.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a cat
Hey.
and she's bad.
Shout out to the cat. Shout out to the cat. Um, you might have
Yes.
just answered this, but I'm gonna ask again. Apologize. How do you measure success for Cherie Sense though? Is that kind of like what you just said? You know, making like seeing if you can make enough to support you and be able to like help support other endeavors you have. Is that how you measure it, or is it by how many candles you sell in a month? Like, how do you measure success for the company? Not exactly for you, but for the company itself.
Right. Yeah. And I think I have like a hard time sometimes separating the two because success for me is much different than what I want for my business. I think yeah, when I can like quit my job, fund my business, like have like, health insurance, be able to have everything that I have still like, you know, with my job, I can have that without. I think that'll be successful. I'm still figuring that out, I must say, because lots of people project what they think success is. And so it's, oh, we want you in stores, oh, we want you here. And I'm just like, I don't know if that's, you know, I want 100%. I literally just want to be able to like travel, like, you know, pay rent, have a nice car, and like do what I want to do. And so when I can do that and still have my business, I think that'll be success.
I love that. I want to dive into a little bit deeper into like the business processes. So, how exactly, what does fulfillment look like for an order? So, an order comes in. What platforms are you using to get orders? How are you like? Are you going to Amazon and buying shipping labels and writing it down yourself? Like, what does the fulfillment process look like for you? When do you ship during the week? Like, how does that look? Can you kind of just break down that little process for us?
Yeah. So in order, so I use bigcartel.com for my website. It was just like the easiest, cheapest thing I could grab. I mean, it's worked for my level of business. So an order comes through, it's the order is put in, I get an email. Um, and so my turnaround process for shipping out is 5 to 7 business days. It usually never ever takes that long for me, just because I have my day-to-day job work schedule pretty much low. So it's usually 3 to 5 business days. So I'll get the order and I'll look and I'll say, oh, okay, this person ordered this, and this. Probably the next day, I'll grab those candles. And package them up, uh, put them in a box, and like make sure the pack. Really, packaging is about making sure that candle does not break on its way to you, and that can be a little challenging just because. No shade to like U.S. Postal Service, you know, workers, but people be showing me packages, and I'm just like, what happened? Like, what in the world happened? And I know they have a hard job as it is, but them boxes be getting thrown.
They
So
do.
you have to
They
make
do.
sure the candle is, oh my gosh, it's scary, honestly. Um, Make sure that candle is packaged really well. I print all my shipping labels, all my labels on my candles. I print them here at home. I just buy like sticker paper from Staples or Office Max, print them out, put them on the candles, and just take them to the post office. Luckily, I'm so fortunate to have a post office to me that even when it's not open, there's an indoor drop box, so like I know everyone's order is safe. Um, so that's like two or three, candles. If someone has ordered like 12 candles, I take a step back and I let them know like, hey, give me some to package this really well, just because I want you to receive your candles and be able to use them. It's nothing. It hurts my heart when people, and it's been a few people like, hey, my candle came broken, and I'm just like, gosh, like that now that really takes a hit on a small business because now I have to repay for that label. I have to remake that candle, and it's no cost to you because you didn't do anything wrong. And I want you to get your product. Um, so mainly getting candles out to people is literally just making sure they're packaged well. I do sometimes offer like a local pickup day, which I have in like December, where it's kind of annoying to pay for shipping for somebody who's like around the corner. So I'll offer like, hey, you can come pick up on this day, and that's just a matter of literally handing candles to people.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. So your photos, the photos for the candles that you take to use on your social platforms. Can you talk about how you decided to take the photos? I know I've seen some beautiful Nubian princesses and queens in the background. So like, how'd you come up with that idea? If you're comfortable sharing who you use as a photographer, do that. But yeah, talk a little bit about the photo
So
process.
um, it's very important to me. Like I said, one of the words I describe myself as is just black because it's very important to me to show black people in a different light. I think we're all aware of how America and society has tried to paint us since they got us over here. And I was just like, I have a business. I don't know who it will reach. I don't know who will, look at my page. So as long as you're looking at my stuff, you're gonna see black and brown people. My photographers have either been black or brown, and you're gonna see us looking good because we do. Um, so my pictures, so my pictures were either taken by, they're taken by a minority, either a black woman. I had a Hispanic. I hope I'm getting that right. Hispanic woman, and I had a Hispanic male take some pictures. Everyone in my pictures, I believe, has been black. Yes, everyone has been black. And I just want to see us looking like luxury because we are. Um, and that's just the idea behind it. I feel like we watch commercials and all we see is white people. Just recently, we started seeing black people, and I'll be like shocked, like, look at him, or I get excited, and that shouldn't be the case. And I don't want anyone to ever think like I'm never gonna work with a white person. But it's just honestly not on my radar. That's not who I have on my page. When I'm looking for photographers, I'm looking for black photographers. I'm looking for Hispanic photographers, um, Asian photographers. It doesn't matter, but we see enough white people. That's just what it is.
I love it. I love it. That's literally exactly kind of how I look at my podcast. And then I just started a t-shirt brand, and that's like how I'm coming at it. Like, with the culture talks, it's not that I will never have a white person on here because I've had white people on here, and I will if I think that there's some value that they can have. But at the end of the day, my focus is to elevate the voices of my people. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't been elevated enough. you know, so it's like, are we
I
here?
agree. No, I agree wholeheartedly with that. And it's not like I'll never work with a white person, or I'm purposely not working with a white person. It's just what I see and what I think is fire comes from minorities. And it's just a preference thing. I reached out to a couple of Caucasian ladies, and they just, wasn't available to do the photo shoot. So it's like it's not like I'm purposely excluding anyone, just what I think is fire on a day-to-day basis. is the Black men and women around me. And I'm like, why can't I just throw them in a photo shoot and they look like models?
Hell yeah, because they are. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's
Right.
fire. That's fire. So what do you say you were like to I know you or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are at this point, but say you were to like hire employees, what would be the type of person you would look for? Like talk about some character traits that you'd seek out if you were to hire employees to help you out.
I really feel like, um, you get a job and that person is just like taking that job so serious and y'all can't like talk about nothing else and it's just this job. I really do not like working in that environment. If I hired someone, um, of course I would want you to take my business serious because people are paying me for quality, absolutely. But I just like to I like to relax. I think at least I'm a really relaxed person. I like relaxed conversation. All that seriousness, like we have to be serious so in so many ways in our life. And I would appreciate if someone could just like come in here, help me out, get paid for it, and we just have a good time, like a relaxed time. I'm to the point where I do need help. And it's kind of hard to admit that some days. I'm like, I think I can do it all on my own, but I can't. If I could just like make the candles and then have someone else come in and like label, package, and kind of just help me declutter. Because after like a day of making candles, the last thing I want to do is like clean this space. And sometimes you don't really realize where candle wax gets. Like it splatters, and you'll be like, "How the heck is the candle wax over here?" So I really appreciate that. But the characteristics is just relax. Everything is fine. Mistakes happen. Um, Come in, chill out. We're probably gonna be listening to some music. I do have someone helping me on my December pickup day, just because those days can get a little wild. I think I chose a person who, she's chill. She'll be able to come in, get the job done. We don't really have to worry about, egos and weird stuff like that. And just have a good time.
I love it. I love it. And are you working out of like the crib? Are you working out of an
Right,
office?
right
Like,
here in my apartment.
hey, I love it. The hustle is real. The hustle is real. See, the beautiful thing about that
Yeah,
when
so we are in my dining room. And like the laptop is on like the dining table, and then this is just like the back. I could like turn it. It's like the kitchen. Yeah. We're just in my dining room. And I have
hustle.
a amazing boyfriend who doesn't complain about me taking up so much space. And yeah, this is just where they're made.
And if I'm correct, your boyfriend as well as a creative, correct?
He is, yeah.
So,
He does a he does music. Yeah.
awesome. I love it. And so how is what do you think's like the main like let's see, what word do I want to use? Um what are some principles or some qualities that you think are necessary for like creatives, artists who are in relationships to work together? Because I've been having this like conversation with a lot of people lately about like both of them are artists, both of them are creatives, and it causes some challenges because like being in this world, as an entrepreneur or as a artist, like times are different. Sometimes you're in the studio till 3 a.m. Sometimes you're working on your business till this time. You're really trying to get things off the ground. So sometimes you like might be working for 16 hours or something like that, hustling. So what do you think are some things that you focus on in your personal life to make sure you make time for connecting and just keeping things healthy?
Well, I think just starting out in the beginning, because my boyfriend attended Pastel for a little while, so I knew he was a creative. He knew that I was a creative. We knew that we both had a love for the arts. Um, so I think just starting out, we both kind of knew that we were going to be pursuing some sort of creative avenue. And when you are yourself an artist, you kind of know that there really are no schedules to this art. it's like if it comes to my mind at 3 a.m., I'm gonna just kind of have to get up and run with it. And because he does music and he works at a studio, I understand that this is something that he enjoys, and because I like him and I love him, I have no problem with him being at the studio till 3 a.m. It's not, it's just not. I feel like a lot of people aren't dating people that they like. And so you're dating someone and they're up till 5 a.m. painting and you're upset, but it's like if you like them and you love them, why is that a problem? Like, it's just like, are we dating people that we like, or do we like the idea of them? Um, and so communication, it's like, hey, I have a studio session tomorrow. And it's like, okay, thanks for letting me know. It's not a surprise. I know what you do. I know what you care about. And so if you're dating someone and they have, I don't know, a dance class every week, either you like them and you deal with that, or you go to someone who doesn't have that. But everyone's going to have something that occupies their time, whether it's a corporate job, whether it's their art, their kids. We all have something, and I think it's important that you just like the person that you're dating and you communicate with that person. I think it'll be kind of impossible for me not to date an artist, just because how passionate I am about art and Black art and the liberation of that. If you don't care about that, we're going to have some problems, because I want to go to my friend's show who only has 3 people there. I'm going to be there in the crowd hype. I want to go to the open mic where everyone who gets up is not, 100%. And I'm there though. And that's important to me, to support those people. And my money also, I'm going to buy from my friend's clothing business, because that's what I think is important. And if that's what you think is important, then I don't know if this is going to work. But fortunately, I was able to find Joey Origami, and we have those same values. And so it works kind of perfectly.
I love it. I love it. If you were to describe what Black love means to you, or how would you define it?
Oh boy. I'm trying to like not ramble, because I can really go on and on
Hey, that's what
about
I
my
want you to do.
boyfriend. Black love, man, it's luxury, honestly. It really is. And I know lately we've been using that word, but I think we should keep using it when it pertains to Black people. Black love, it's literally, I wake up in luxury every day. Like regardless of the arguments or the stuff we disagree on, I highly doubt that I could ever be with someone who is not Black. And unless you're Black, unless you're in this culture, like, you really don't know how fire we are. Um, so it's just luxury every single day.
I love it. I love that word. You have used that, and now it's going to be in my language now after this conversation. So I appreciate you for using that language, because that's fire, straight luxury, real facts, real facts. I love it, man. Well, you've shared a little bit about your business, a little bit about your early history. We've talked about Black love. I want to dive into my last category, which is about mental health, physical health, spiritual health, like health overall. So I kind of wanted to ask you, like, especially during the time that America, almost said America, that the entire globe's been facing during this pandemic. How have you been dealing with mental health? And outside of that, also, how do you deal with mental health? What are some strategies you go to when you're feeling down and out, when you're struggling? Like, just talk a little bit about your mental health practices and how you try to stay stable, healthy, and fire and luxury.
Yeah. So mental health is like top top 3 most important things to me. Just because as a Black person in America, we're almost like born into this just traumatic bubble. We have people out here who hate us for no reason. Um, we don't get the same treatment as other people, and so we grow up with that. Um, Sometimes you don't realize I have not been treated the best all my life. We're very much ignored, and we're not educated on the things that we need to be educated on. So being an adult who realizes I can't go certain places, well, I can, but I choose not to go certain places because they hate me. Also dealing with like COVID quarantine, Also dealing with like the sun leaving at like 4:30. Might be down some days. Like you really might be down some days. And I've created literally, like, I hope it doesn't sound crazy, but a relationship with my depression, with my sadness. We have to talk. Like we have to be on the same page. I understand that there are going to be days where I literally do not want to get out of the bed, and I have to allow that. But my depression has to understand I run a business. I have things that I want to do. So you're gonna have to take the back burner some days. I mean, as crazy as it may sound, I talk to myself. I'm like, look, we got to get up. I'm sorry. We can lay down tomorrow, or we can lay down after him, but you have to get up and you have things to do. And it's sometimes it's harsh, and I understand. I don't want people to think that that's how you have to talk to yourself. Please be gentle with yourself. But when you have certain goals, when you have certain things to do in life, there just comes a bluntness. There comes a time you have to be blunt with yourself. And it's like, we have to get up. There's a time to be down and out, and times where you can't control that. But on the days where you have just a little bit of energy, I make sure I get up and I do what I need to do. Candles play a big part in that. Aromatherapy, different scents remind you of different things. Different scents give you energy. Other scents calm you down. So luckily, I have a large stock of scents to help me out throughout the day. Um, I just try to stay off of things that are negative. Like sometimes social media can be very negative, and you can just and sometimes it's like needed negativity. Like, hey, this person just got killed. It's happening in this country, but it's draining. So I make sure that I watch Funny Shaw. I love watching Bernie Mac. I mean, I just laugh all day at him. I make sure that I mess around with my pet, or I'll go outside. So those things that I try to get my mind off of the negative, and that's like the goal every day: get off of the negative.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. So who would you say are some influential leaders or figures in your life that kind of inspire you on a day-to-day basis? You can maybe relate that even back to mental health and just spiritual health. Who are some people that you look to for guidance, or just anything in that guidance, inspiration? It can be through business, through health, it can be through relationships. Who are some people you look up to?
Um, so probably like Ari Lennox. Um, she is so herself. Like I don't know if you've ever peeped at like one of her lives. It's just like foolishness, like 24/7. And I feel like she like know me or something. Like that album, Shea Butter Baby, was like, this girl know me. And I think that she's just like fully herself, or I hope, it feels like she is. I don't know her, but um I love watching her lives, and I really don't tune into celebrities like that, but for her it feels natural. And so the label that she's on, Dreamville, my favorite rapper is J. Cole. And I just feel like he is so positive. That man's music has got me through some very hard times. And I like listening to him speak, like his thought process. Jill Scott, I love watching her interviews, and she doesn't have a whole, but when she speaks, I feel like she's telling the truth and something profound. Um, Felicia Rashad, she is just phenomenal. And she just drops gems all the time. I feel like there's someone else that I'm like completely missing. Um, but truthfully, I don't know. I don't look to a lot of people for those things. I spend a lot of time with self, and I feel like I'm getting to know myself every day. And so this process of like checking myself of like, hey, you were a little rude today, you were a little off today. Lately you've been kind of mean to your boyfriend, or maybe you didn't speak to that person as well as you could have. Or even if I'm just feeling off, I'm like, what's going on? What happened? And I admit when things bother me. Sometimes I feel like we all want to be like so careless and nothing bothers me. I'm like, you know what? That person said something and it might be mine. Feel it, understand it and move on. So it's a lot of inner work, honestly.
Love it. I love it. That was a great explanation. That's fire. I appreciate that. So, are there any books? Are there any YouTube videos? Are there any are there any podcasts that you listen to that have helped you with your business, or maybe they've just been with helped you with finances, whatever it might be? Are there any books that stand out or podcasts that you would suggest to other people?
You know what? Not books per se. It's really hard for me to pick up a book these days, and I know that's bad. Um, but I'm trying to get the Stanley Hudson. He's like a really good. He's a candle maker as well, and he just drops gems 24/7. If anyone is like really looking just for like a support group, whatever it is that you do, whether it's candles, nails, lashes, a Facebook group or a Twitter group, um, will drop gems on you all the time. I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups and candle groups and stuff like that. And they're really supportive. You know, as crazy as you would think, like we're all each other's competition per se, but people love dropping gems. Faces by Tiffany. She's a local makeup artist in Kansas City. And when I tell you, she don't even realize to be rambling and talking. She is dropping gems all the time, just on like customer service. She'll tell like, oh, I had an experience with this customer. So yeah, Faces by Tiffany. She's a lovely woman who does makeup, and I follow her, and she's constantly dropping gems.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, you've been providing gems yourself. We really appreciate you being open enough to come on the podcast and share a little bit about
I
your
don't know
story.
nothing about nothing.
Hey, it's okay to be humble. I understand,
I
but
don't
look,
know it.
hey, but it's facts, man. Everyone's experience, everyone's lessons that they've learned are also just a piece of light for others to take from and learn and apply to their lives as well. So I appreciate you being open to just drop in here and take some time to converse. But I still have two more questions for you before we hop off this podcast.
Yeah.
And the first question is, if you had to choose 3 hip hop albums to listen to for the remainder of your life, what would those 3 be?
Oh, somebody's gonna like kill me over this. I can already tell. All right, so first we're just gonna go with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Okay, great choice.
I can't like not choose a J. Cole album. I'm gonna go ahead and go with For Your Eyes Only from J. Cole. Last one. Man. I really can't think of a. Let's go with anything Outcast. Anything Outcast.
Okay, that's great. We got Lauryn Hill, J. Cole, and Outkast. It's pretty solid. I don't think too many people can be mad. Not that it matters, because at the end of the day, your choice.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I love that. I love that. Those are great choices. All right, number 2, our last and final question. Okay, so you're sitting in a nice little, rocking chair, right? Just chilling, nice crib. You done built businesses. You done had a great love life. You done had a great life with your family, your parent. Everything's lit, right? Great life. But now you're like 104. It's your last day on earth, and everything that you've ever did is disappearing with you when you leave this earth. But your grandkids are sitting at your feet, and you have to give them one piece of advice on how to live life. What are you going to tell them?
Do everything you want to do.
Do everything that you want to do. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, do everything that you want to do. Go follow Cherie Scents on all social platforms. She's about to tell me where we can find her on social platforms. She's about to spell it out for us, so y'all know. Aside from that,
so Cherie Scents on Instagram, and MonCherie _ on Twitter, and Cherie Scents on Facebook.
Beautiful. And that's Cherie, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Cherie Scents.
Yes.
Again, I want to thank you for your time today. Love to you, love to your fam, love to your business. And keep doing your thing, man. Like we always, especially as, Black creatives and entrepreneurs, sometimes we try to be silent, mad, calm, but look, we ain't got to be humble, man. When we do great things, it's okay to speak on it. So I think you're doing a lot of dope shit. I think a lot of people I see on Twitter and this random person I didn't even know knew about your business. Like you're doing something and you're doing something great and you took action on something that you're passionate about, and you're also working another job. You're hustling. You're taking care of a relationship too. Obviously that's a 2-person thing, but you trying to. So you're doing a lot of great things. I want you to be proud of yourself, and you still made time for a young man who's just trying to make his podcast grow. Look at you. You out here just being a gift giver. Okay, I see you. All right. With that being said,
I appreciate it.
all right, but nah, man, it's all love. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Go follow her on all social platforms. Leave a 5-star review under this podcast, as that is the only way we can grow. And with that being said, it's CIZZY. You dig? And we out. Salud.